Yo guys, how's everyone doing? Hope all are enjoying the jam-packed Project Next update so far. After a week of rigorous testing, today we're going to evaluate all the revamped heroes with Project Next and then help you pick your next main right here and right now.
Just for the thrill of it, nothing counterfeit with you, just the thrill of it. Just for the thrill of it, nothing counterfeit.
Before we get started, I know 55% of you beautiful people have yet to like, subscribe, and turn that bell on to join the coolest, greatest, baddest stream or channel on Planet ML. Well, this is your chance to be a maverick, to be awesome, to be part of an amazing community. So do not hesitate. Hit your like, subscribe, and turn that bell on to all notification bells. Tons of daily guides, live streams are waiting for you right after. With that, let's get into the video. There are 5 heroes revamped thanks to Project Next, including Layla, Miya, Saber, Zilong, and Alucard. Everyone got a unique new flavor after the rework. While in today's video, we're going to talk about how good is a rework for individual hero, how they fit into the meta, the most efficient way to play them, and of course, their overall ranking among all the choices. Coming to the last place of today's revamp is Alucard. Similar to Zilong, which we will discuss in a bit, Alucard got hardly any revamp at all, except some skill cooldown adjustments and slight changes to how his passive and ultimate work. If you knew how Alucard worked before Project Next, you probably know exactly how he works after the update. Alucard can do similar amount of damage pre and post update, and his weaknesses remain similar. The thing is, since Alucard can do large sum of AoE hero damage now, if you use your ultimate properly, he's much more of a threat to your opponent in the teamfights than ever before. With that being said, the upside also comes with more target focus on you as well. And since Alucard's survivability didn't really change much, if Alucard get hard quad controlled, he is still just a sitting duck. And on top of that, Alucard still offers no real quad control himself. So without any teammates' assistance, chasing enemy with decent awareness is still not an easy task. Unless you're 5,000 gold ahead and killing them requires only skill 1 click, skill 2 click, and boom, well, that's a different story then. The good news is, Project Next effectively put Alucard in the jungle since his jungle clear is one of the best early game. With a proper team, once Alucard is farmed up and gets some early game advantage, it's very hard for enemy to challenge you in any condition. You can go split push, and if someone shows up, just kill them. You can just roam with a team, and if a group of people shows up, well, just kill them. The point is, Alucard is definitely one of the meta's most fun and a snowball-heavy jungler. If you have not given it a try or have hesitation to try it because you're afraid your friends might trash talk you or whatever, make sure to share this video with your friends and just be like, Dave told me to do it. The above reasons are why I list Alucard as number 5 in today's list. If you really put all the pointers together, you will conclude probably the same thing as me. The Alucard is a novelty hero that will work only if you have a team of trustworthy teammates to play with, who also understand his potential and at the same time trust your ability to carry in the jungle role. Otherwise, trying to play Alucard in solo queue and win is the same as trying to get Trump and Biden to stop talking over each other in the first presidential debate. It's certainly possible, but it just won't happen. Second to our last pick today is Zilong. Maybe because they're just fighters, or players simply do not know how to play the game yet, Zilong just feel very awkward in ranks still. If you put him on the side lane, preferably gold lane, he will most likely lose the lane to any fighters. Like literally, you can name any fighters that are played in the current meta, there's not a single one that Zilong can comfortably say, don't worry guys, I got this. Instead, the signal that you will receive constantly from Zilong's side lane is most likely, "Getting top you dumbasses, they have 4 here." Not realizing the silent Zilong was the actual dumbass since you are just free food for the opponent. I mean, what do you expect when you want to pick Zilong's side lane? If you decide to take Zilong jungle, it's actually a viable choice since Zilong definitely needs as much farm as he can peacefully get. As I mentioned earlier, similar to Alucard, Zilong hardly received any changes except for a skill cooldown reset on skill 2 and a faster passive. With that being said, if you knew how to play Zilong before, you would easily adjust to the current version. The build hasn't changed, the playstyle hasn't changed, you are still just the additional member that can be a game changer if you're farmed enough. But even then, you're just an additional member that's heavily dependent on your team's performance. Trying to charge into 2 to 3 enemy members along with Zilong, if they have any reliable quad control, is the equivalent of sending yourself to the black and white screen and a 4-vote report at end of the game. Now, similar to Alucard, if you have a proper team that engages for you, And all you have to do is adding oil to the fire to make it even worse for the opponents. Well, Zilong can be extremely scary, especially a farmed one. The one-shot King Spirit has never left Zilong after the revamp. If you have a tank player that's willingly help you jungle, and a mid laner who is good at poking, to side laners who do not feed, well, the chances of winning are significantly higher. Now, this doesn't mean you can win for sure, or even majority of the time. Zilong is easily countered by any quad control available in the game. That's why we emphasize many times, he has to be the good additional member on your team who wait for an opportunity rather than someone you can rely on to deal consistent damage. Different from Alucard, Zilong does have a very reliable source of engage and quad control. And his ability to pursue a fleeing enemy is much higher as well. Before more players are educated and we have more roam tank players in the game, seeing Zilong in solo rank is still mostly a troll option even after the update. Again, except when you have a reliable team who's carrying you on their back to begin with. Now, coming to number 3 of the list is probably the best of all these revamp choices we mentioned so far, Saber. Before we talk about the hero itself, I'm so glad the developers also did decent changes to Saber's legendary skin. If you happen to have one extra crystal lying around, undecided, well not sure which legend skin to purchase, well, you know what to do. Smash the gore skin button and... Nah, just kidding. Of course I mean the Saber Legend skin. It's probably the best revamp skin in the game at the moment. The skill animations, skin introduction, everything are just on another level. Now, obviously, that's not the reason why Saber deserves to be number 3 today. Or is it? After a week of testing, Saber has proven to be one of the best jungle options in the entire game. His reliable point-click quad control is a nightmare to most hyper assassins like Ling, Hayabusa, since they usually do not take Purify at all. And the damage buff on Saber's kit just made him such a force to be reckoned with. If you did your combo properly, one-shotting any squishy at level 4 is as easy as 1, 2, 3 plus an auto attack. Compared to the Saber before Project Next, the revamped one not only has much more damage, but he also has much more reliable wave clear and jungle clear abilities. Try using Saber to take down a turret is as enjoyable as watching AssDave's brand new Mukbang channel link down in description. The current version Saber can be played as side lane, but mostly preferred as a jungler since his jungle clear is second to none. And his roaming ability is so good due to the high burst damage and quad control. If you happen to have a trusty tank who initiate and grant vision control for you, playing Saber jungle is probably one of the best experiences you're gonna have as a jungler. The only challenge is, similar to any assassin jungler with the exceptions of Ling, Saber is still just a support jungler at best. His late game scaling is not as good, and most importantly, his mobility is too one-dimensional. Meaning if you dive in, it's better be a pre-medicated and well-calculated move. Otherwise, you will find this dive to be a one-way trip. Additionally, since Saber's range is so short, if your teammates cannot carry the mid to late game, playing Saber might give you the good experience early game, but you will soon find yourself stuck between a rock and a hard place, not knowing when or how to get involved in any way. So I highly recommend you pair all the fighters/assassins I mentioned above with a mid laner that has a decent range and good scaling, such as Farsa, Sicilian, or Chang'e. Taking the second place today is my new personal favorite, Layla. Despite I have one of the lowest win rate with Layla this past week, but this is also true for any other marksman I played, since I happen to get noob teammates who lose every other lane almost every game. The thing is, despite all the challenges, Layla is simply fun to play now. The insane range after Project Next is simply revolutionary in overall ML gameplay. If you want to ask me a recommended hero to buy after Project Next, I would 100% say Layla. But wait a minute, everyone has already gotten this hero for free! So you have not tried the new revamped Layla, get off your lazy ass and go try her now. Except this is a mobile game and you don't really have to get off your butt in order to play. In fact, I think you should sit down and play because it will probably result in a more pleasant experience. But latest revamp among all the heroes definitely deserve to be the most unique and reasonable. Her skill 1 grants Layla more range, which works with her passive. Her ultimate grants her more range permanently, which also works with her passive. And on top of that, her skill 2 cast range increases as you level up your ultimate. It's just an incredible and complete package. Now, in order to make marksmen like Layla work, you need to make sure your team prioritize resources to your lane, meaning jungler and mid laner better spend a lot of time ganking your lane to make sure you're protected and freed from your lane. Then you can rotate with the team after the extra gold bonus is over from your lane. At that point, you should be able to pose a big enough threat to your opponent that they have to think twice or thrice before even attempting to do anything else to your team. But if they try to kill you, it's gonna cost them way too much. I understand to ask a team like this, maybe asking a little bit too much. Hell, in fact, I think this team requirement is much higher than the requirement asked for Saber or any other fighter jungler. But Layla is so fun right now that even if you're having a bad game, it's still a good game, if you know what I mean. And if you happen to have a good decent team, you will find yourself untouchable like a 36D girl who happened to have 2 PhD in astrophysics and psychology. Now, taking a front seat on today's revamp hero list is uncontestedly Miya. After Miya's revamp, this hero has Natalia's invisibility, 1-1's purify, Odette's root, Moscow wave clear, and most importantly, Miya's damage. If Miya is farmed, you're gonna have problem killing her with any meta super assassins. Her mobility has gone through the roof right now. Not only that, you might find yourself beaten down by that Miya in return if you don't have the reliable teammates who initiate for you. Or maybe both of you guys will die at the same time. Miya's revamp legitimately made her a different marksman than before, a hero who is packed with surprises. For example, you will find Miya dragging the team behind before the update, who is straight up food for your opponents. Now, after Project Next, she can literally one-on-one lots of fighters such as Chao, simply by activating that skill 1 and just stand in place and smash the auto attack button. Another example, before Project Next, you might find Miya never able to kill anyone since she doesn't have any means to slow enemy down or stop them in place. Well, that problem no longer exists thanks to the new root given to her skill 2. The most important thing is, once Miya gets her item farmed up and you fail to delete her in one try, the only thing that awaits you and your team is either an official or non-official savage. Similar to Layla, Miya also requires her team to prioritize resources towards her lane, making sure that she is protected in and out. This might be too much for a lot of teams who don't understand pilling and all that, and for those teams, I refer you to watch our What Pro Never Tell You series, aka Pilling, to learn how to protect a marksman. Now, if your team agree to do so, your efforts will surely not go to waste unless your Miya player is just a not watching Dave's guide dumbass. Then we might have a different problem to worry about. But if we consider your Miya is somewhat decent and knows how to kite around with an acceptable positioning, the game will snowball to a point that literally makes your opponent cry. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you do, make sure to remember like, subscribe, turn that bell on to all notification bells. I will see you guys in the comment section. Until then, stay safe and stay awesome. Bye now.
Just for the thrill of it, nothing counterfeit with you. Just the thrill.